I want to go to Thomas out of Texas. First time calling Thomas. Thomas, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Okay, good. I live way out in the country, so I had to drive like a mile down the road to get better reception.
That's amazing. What part of Texas you live in?
Oh, I live, well, it's near a town called Goliad.
Oh, okay.
It's well known for historical stuff back in the old days.
Don't let Black Lives Matter hear about that.
Hey, we have Mexican general statues as well over at our place in Goliad. Yeah, and that we've had that from the beginning because, I mean, you need to know the people who it was that did the bad things.
They're only going to destroy the white statues. They're not going to hurt the color.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I just wanted to call and thank you, Jesse, because, you know, when you were talking about forgiving parents and stuff like that, my father, he was like an ex-Vietnam vet, extreme PTSD, alcoholic, stuff like that. My mother had married him before he went into the war, and he wasn't like that.
Right.
But, and she had several kids. I was the only son, the youngest as well. So I had 4 sisters that were older than me. And honestly, when you were saying about forgiving the parents, I couldn't think of anything of forgiving my mother of. And because she's always been such a good person, but at the same time, I've always felt like some resentment toward her.
Yes.
But then at the same time, resenting myself for resenting her.
Yeah.
And it would, I always, I guess you could say for a long time, I felt like confused, conflicted, constantly, emotionally, a lot of emotion, which I didn't feel was like how a man's supposed to feel.
Yes.
It was like I could notice something was wrong, but I couldn't put a finger on it. And people had told me before about forgiving or asking for forgiveness or stuff like that. And, you know, I guess you could say I was a Christian in name only. I'm starting to get a little more. Are you there?
Yes, go ahead. You started to get a little more what?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I've become a little bit more, I guess you could say, reading a little more on the Bible and watching shows like yours where you talk about Christianity and you know, prayer and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I could never really see anything she did wrong, but I just decided I was going to go with it and go ahead and try. And so I just, first thing was like, told her I forgave her. I didn't know what to really say. But then, and then she was like, for what? And then next thing I know, things started coming out.
Yes.
You know, thing was she was always big on family, taking care of the family. And my sisters made some poor decisions. Half of them didn't get married before having children.
Yep.
And my mom would sometimes throw a little guilt trip to help take care of the kids for my sisters.
Yes.
Because they don't have a male in their life. And she felt they needed a male in their life, some type of male role model. And she didn't realize she was being detrimental to me because as long as I was doing that, I wasn't working on my own life.
Yes, sir.
And
amazing.
And as soon as I started to tell her this, she got a look on her face and she said she felt like she was doing wrong by getting me to do that in the past, by throwing some guilt trips and stuff like that. And I noticed immediately after that. Before that, I had a higher pitched voice. I know this sounds funny, but I had a higher pitched voice. I had emotions that were constantly making me feel depressed and all different kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
After that encounter, and I forgave her and I explained to her why and everything, that I didn't have anything against her. I loved her. It's just that she needed to realize that putting so much emotion into me to be constantly taking care of my sister's kids that were not my problem.
Yeah.
Was actually hurting me, and I just needed to get off my chest. And as soon as I did, I mean, seriously, it felt like my voice dropped. I used to be extremely heavy. I started losing weight like crazy.
Amazing.
Having more energy, more focus. Depression symptoms practically disappeared. and literally able to get things done. Where before I would feel almost to a point where even if I started doing something, if I started to get frustrated, even in the slightest, emotions would prevail instead of the actual work. And I feel like I've literally came out of drowning in emotion to rational dry land. It's like a complete flip. And even all my family members have noticed it, saying, well, you know, what's... And honestly, I was skeptical. I was skeptical at the beginning when you said about it.
Doubting
it
Thomas.
Really did. And I'm 43. So, I mean, this just happened within the past 6 to 8 months, something like that.
Yes.
And which kind of embarrasses me a little bit that it took that long, but I'd rather it happen than not at all.
That's right.
You know.
Absolutely, man.
And I do feel, I mean, it literally does. Before I felt like I was drowning all the time. And now, I mean, I'm not going to lie, there was times that seriously thoughts pop in your head of, well, why even bother suffering this anymore?
Yeah.
You know,
that's
kind
right.
of thing. All those things just disappeared. Just from forgiving my mother for something that really was her just trying to keep the family together and keep it strong, but she was putting it too much on me, especially with me being the youngest.
She imposed her will on you. Thomas, This is an amazing call, man. I'm just blown away right now. The one thing I do want to clarify, though, or clear up, is you love her now. You didn't love her before. Because everyone who has anger do not have love. You can't have anger and love. So you felt
that was the conflict that I had.
Yes, because you felt that emotional thing that feels like love that comes from hate. And so that's why you thought you loved her. Now that you're able to tell her the truth and forgive her, now you love her with God's love, which is not an emotional thing at all.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is more so. I can tell you that much.
Yes.
I definitely feel, because the resentment's not there. I don't
That's right.
have any of that. And that was what was like killing me, because it literally felt like, because I was resenting her, then resenting myself for resenting her.
That's
and
right.
because I never saw as her doing anything wrong, she was just trying to, you know, using emotion,
Yes.
trying to get me to help out in situations where I knew I should have been helping myself. You know, when you're 18, 19, 20, that's when a man needs to really be getting
That's right.
busy doing stuff.
He needs to be out there building his own life. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this. So now when you see your mother, if she tried to make you feel guilty because she might think about what you said and then, oh, you're trying to make me feel this way.
No, she hasn't.
But if she does, don't fall for it, because some mothers are doing that to their children when they go back. Just correct her, be honest with her, and you're just going to continue to grow. You have not seen anything yet, man.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, she actually admitted herself that she thought what she did was wrong, because she could see the outcome.
Yes, that's
beautiful. Of me not being married, not having children, you know, because I was busy raising everybody else's kids and everything, helping them out. And she realizes now it was a big mistake. She should have never done that.
Are you doing the silent?
She felt like
Are you doing the silent prayer?
No, I just barely heard that on the little commercial thing. I wanted to go check it out.
Yeah, go to silentprayer.video or rebuildingtheman.com/church and do the silent prayer, Thomas. You have not seen anything. You're growing now as a son of God, and he has an amazing life laid out for you. It's going to come out of you, and it's going to be more than you could ever imagine. Thomas, thanks for this great call. I'm sorry?
I do have one question real quick.
All right, hold on.
Do you have one on forgiving your father?
Yeah, it's the same principle.
If he's passed.
Hold on, Thomas. Hold on. Let me take a break. Back in a moment. Thomas, you had a quick question for me. Go ahead.
I was just wanting to find out if you already had like a video out there or something that tells about like forgiving for instance, forgiving my father. He, like I said, he was an alcoholic and stuff like that. There was some physical abuse and stuff, but I was just trying to find out if you already had a video out there explaining like how to forgive someone who's passed already.
I do. We have truckloads of them. But let me tell you this. the same way you realized that you can't help yourself, couldn't help yourself in that fallen state, you did things that you regretted, but yet you repeated them. The same thing about your mother. She did that to you, knowing that it was wrong, but she couldn't help herself. She did it anyway, thinking that she was doing the right thing, but knowing that it was wrong. She couldn't help herself, right? And likewise, your father could not help himself. He resented his mother. He yearned for his father. And he resented...
Well, I have heard stories of his mother, and I could understand that.
Yes. And so by resenting his mother, he ended up marrying his mother. And so he couldn't handle your mother because he was married to the spirit that he hated. You become attracted to what you hate. And so if you can realize that about yourself and about your mother, it will cause you to realize that about your father, and that would cause you to forgive him since he's dead. You would naturally forgive him.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
He could not help himself. He was if it's true that he was an alcoholic, I have to take your word at it. He was an alcoholic because he had all that anger.
He wasn't before he went to the military.
Yeah.
He used to be like, according to everybody even, they said he was like a completely different man. But after Vietnam, he became like shell-shocked, completely introverted, all that kind of stuff. He would drink 2 cases of beer in a day.
He overreacted to what he was dealing with over there. He became angry about it, and that's why. And so he fell away from God. Satan became his father. He couldn't help himself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I'm glad that at the end he did. He wanted a preacher there, and they brought a preacher and all that, and he did ask forgiveness for everything he did, and
well, then,
basically.
So you have let it go already. Then, so when you realized he couldn't help himself in that very moment.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had to or what. I just know that it literally feels like a weight's been lifted off me, like the world.
Yeah, you're free now.
That I was crushing under before, but it was almost like that I'd gotten so used to being crushed that I didn't even realize the weight was there.
That's right. That's right, man.
And it really did. You really did help me out with that, and I really appreciate that.
You're
and
welcome.
I am going to try to get to be I'm not sure how to do all that Patreon stuff, but I'm definitely going to try to figure out how so I can be a donator.
Well, hold on. I'll let James tell you. Don't hang up. But I want to tell you this. I'm being told that how old are you, Thomas?
I'm 43 now.
Oh, okay.
It's like I got a new lease on life. I literally feel like Benjamin Button going in reverse.
That's right.
Because it's like I'm almost like all that time that was lost. It feels like it's all here, right there at this moment.
That's right.
Get it back. And that's basically what I've been trying to do. My energy levels are gone way up.
Yeah.
I used to just sit there and think about what to do instead of doing something.
That's right. You're on your way.
And sit there and come up with all the negative connotations of what would happen if I do this or that. And that's all I would do. I would never achieve because I was just too busy being pulled down.
Well, you're going to be fine now. So I had a conversation with a man by the name of Martin of Amsterdam, Holland, and whose father committed suicide. The father killed his mother, his grandmother, and sisters, and then himself. And I had a conversation with Martin about that. So that's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And you can get set up on a monthly donation by going to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. All right? So, but hold on. James will tell you how to do the Patreon thing as well. Hold on. Great call, Thomas.